joints don't do it, then money will, money will, money will, money will. If the joints don't do it, then money will, money will, money will, money will. And if joints don't do it, then money will, money will, money will, money will. I could give a fuck about happiness, but I'll be happy when I buy a house in the fucking.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's like 8 a.m. here, man. I'm like halfway across the world.
Crazy. It's 6 p.m. over here.
Oh,
That's
damn.
wild.
6 p.m. over there? Wait,
Yeah.
I thought it was when I checked the Eastern time online, I thought it was exactly 12 hours or like 13 hours behind.
Yeah, but I'm in the Yukon. So we both went by Eastern Standard Time, but right now I'm actually teaching music in the Yukon for the next few months.
Oh,
So this is P PST instead of VST. So we're 3 hours behind Eastern Standard Time.
right, right. Okay. So how was your day, man?
Yeah. So that's why when you said I'm good, I'm chilling, I'm chilling. How are you?
I'm
We're doing
good.
some pumpkin carving.
Oh, yeah. What'd you do? What'd
Yeah.
you do the whole day today?
Pretty much like we went shopping. I made some music in the morning.
Yeah.
We went shopping for pumpkins and all of that. Like the community center that I'm working with, like
Okay.
a bunch of the staff are doing the pumpkin carvings later tonight. So we did a little shopping for that. And then I got winter boots, winter gloves for the Yukon winter.
Fun,
Yeah.
fun. That's great. How's this lockdown been for you? Is it still locked down where you are? Like everyone's
Here
working
there's
from home?
zero cases, but I got here in September. So I was in lockdown from pretty much March until September.
Oh, okay. Now, how was
Yeah.
that?
Um, Wait, are we starting the interview like now?
Man, like I said, it's just gonna be a chill conversation, and
Cool. No,
I'm gonna snip out whatever I need to snip out, and then
no,
send you the video, and then you can tell me what you want, what you don't want from the video, and I'll do it according to what we like.
cool. I mean, it's chill. Yeah, super chill. Like lockdown was dope. For me in a certain way because it was just time to focus on all the parts of my craft that I hadn't been able to address beforehand because I was so busy trying to figure out, okay, where am I going? It was a bit tough mentally. I think like with anyone else because when you're in lockdown, there's a lot of time to think to yourself. And I think that's the big thing, right? You're like, when you have that time to think to yourself, you're like, okay, where do I want to go? Where should I be right now? You end up comparing yourself to people and that kind of stuff. But I think I made sure to keep track of that going into lockdown. When I realized, oh, we're going into lockdown, I was like, all right, bet this is time to build, make beats, write songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
So
definitely. I definitely know what you mean. I've
yeah,
been holding off on producing a lot of my stuff just because I'm like, man, I just graduated. I gotta find a job. I gotta do what I need
right,
to do to make the money. You know, I don't want to be dependent anymore. And
right,
it's tough just because you're all, as an artist, you think that when you're young, you need to be successful when you're young. You know, you want to be jumping
right,
on stage and jamming out to your music with the crowd when you're young, you know,
right,
when it's hype, when you have all that energy. But
right,
it's tough, man. Like looking at all these 17-year-old, 18-year-old you know, rock stars who come out, like rap stars
right,
that are just blowing up. I
right,
feel like our generation has that kind of fear or like anxiety to perform like now. It's like I got to be
right,
successful now. They don't want
right.
to. You don't want to go through that whole working really hard and going through that process. And I think it's just like a mindset that's been built. But
Mm.
no, it's this lockdown has been a blessing to actually execute some stuff that
Yeah,
us artists have had. you know, building up in our minds and on our projects. So that's great, man.
And I think beyond anything, it's about when you actually don't get swept up in the current of today and like the things that are going on in your work and collaborations and all of these things that you have to get, like you have time to think of what you really actually want. You know what I mean? And I think that was the important thing, to try and, you know, like it's never too late. Define your goals, define what you actually want, and define like how much work it'll actually take to get there. And even with the younger artists, like sometimes that might bug me, but to be honest, I think I'm over that, because like one, with younger artists, just because a lot of them get it while they're young, that doesn't equate to longevity. And when I look at music in my career, I think that all the people who I look up to and the legends that I look up to, it's not about what they got. Like, yeah, they got success and that stuff, but it's really about what they gave back. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like, I've really come to terms with the fact that legends are created by what they give, not by what they get. You know, that's how that's what you're remembered by, right? And so it's like,
yeah,
are you really ever too old, you know, to affect someone emotionally, you know, to make someone think something, maybe to help someone through a tough time? No. You know
no,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's an audio track, right? It's not a
yeah.
people don't go, oh my God, this song touched my heart, but oh shoot, this guy's 25 instead of 23. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I would have been affected emotionally, but I'm not. You know, like Jay-Z's what, 40 something, 50 something.
Yeah. 40 something. Yeah. 50. Yeah. 40 something. Yeah. Late 40s.
We could Google that, but whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
but so that's the other thing. I think it's just like when you focus on like what can I give to people that I think is of value, it becomes a little bit less daunting.
Definitely. But I mean, like, if you have all of these songs that you've written, and
Right.
you don't have a like when I was watching your videos, like whether it was Midas or Sideways, they're so well produced. They're so
Mhm.
well. The sound is so great, you know. Like
Right.
I've released a couple of songs, and very low quality, like very average quality, mixing,
Right.
mastering, and uh,
Right.
video editing as well was very basic iMovie type stuff, and
Right.
it was just because I had goals that I set for myself. I'm like, I have to release a song before I'm not a teenager anymore. You know, it has
Right.
to be done. Like it just has to be done. Whether it's a SoundCloud release or a music video, it just has to be done. One of my
Right.
songs has to be released as a teenager, so I have that milestone achieved that I released a song as a teenager. Then when
Right.
I reached my 20s, I started reaching a dilemma. I'm like, you know, now I want to release whatever I have with great quality, you know, great sound engineering, great music,
Right.
great video editing, and great everything. I don't want to release anything until it's great. So,
Right.
what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that I should wait on releasing some of my stuff
Right.
to make it the quality that I want to make it, or should I just keep putting stuff out and start, yeah, just start putting stuff out?
So that's an interesting one. First off, there's no one way to be successful. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. What I've come to believe is consistency is key. Um, if you want, you should be releasing. Let me think about this one sec.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So let's say, first things first, whatever you do release, you should believe in. That's first. Okay. So it's like, I think this song is dope. If you're saying, yo, even if the mixing or the mastering or isn't the greatest, but the lyrics mean something and the beat slaps, like people will vibe to this, sure. But then again, if the song is that good, then it's worth it to invest your money and get the good quality mixing and the good quality mastering, right?
Right.
Um, so I would say release at your best always, but be aware that you're constantly improving. So what's your best now will be considered trash a year from now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, When it comes to the mixing and the mastering, I do it all myself. I record everything myself. I do it all from my bedroom. I don't go to a studio. I don't have foam set up. I have a little $40 foam ball, like with a mic. I have like a $40 foam ball on my mic, and I use the Scarlett interface, and I record and I mix and I master. Now I went to school for audio engineering. It was a 1-year program though. So
Okay.
most of my mixing and mastering skills I learned from YouTube. So and same thing, even with Midas, it's like the director did edits, but I learned how to edit because I wanted to get the cut the same way, like the way that I liked.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
asked them for the raw footage, and there were certain things they did an amazing job. There were just certain things I wanted to change, so I did it myself. Um, and so you have two options. When it comes to making great content, you either invest time or you invest money. You invest money to have people who already invested the time, or you invest the time to get your skills up to that level.
Yeah.
Um, but when you do release, just understand that the first question you should ask always is, what am I giving to people? What is it about this song that that is really resonating with people? Because then if you can find that and you're like, you know what, I feel like if I was a random person and I heard this song, I would receive some value, then you'll actually believe in your marketing and you'll actually push the song the way that you want to,
Right.
you know? So I would say when it comes to like releasing your music, like take the time, either find the people to get, like if you hear in yourself, oh, this could be better quality and that's what would make it, then figure it out. You're gonna have to figure it out at one point or another, right? So
Yeah.
why not try and address that hurdle now? Like if you're like, okay, the mixing or mastering I'm not a fan of, but I've heard this person's track and their stuff is dope. How do they do that?
Hmm.
Right? So then drag that person's track into the same session with your track and be like, what's the difference? And try and figure it out.
Yeah.
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 That's what I would say with that.
That's an excellent explanation. I really felt everything that you were saying. That's an excellent, because I've been going through that, and haven't really been able to jump over that hurdle of not being a fan of mixing and mastering and sound
Mm,
engineering my stuff. But you know I in at the end of the day, I have the sounds in my head. I know what I
right.
want. I know what I want to make, and it would just
Right.
be so much better if I was able to do it. Because I mean,
Right.
at this point in my life, uh, I've just started a job, and it's really
Right.
taking away a lot of time. But I'm
Right.
gonna start making the money. But I wouldn't say like I would make enough money to want to start spending it on people who have invested their time. I'd rather just like get the weekends and invest my own time and go at a slower pace. But that also eats away at me. I'm just like, man, it's going too slow. I haven't achieved what I want to achieve by now.
But
But
why? Like, see, that's my question. It's like, why is it too slow? Because for my first project, keep
yeah,
in mind, first project I ever released, it took 4 years to build that project from the ground up. Cool? And
okay,
release it. Why? Because I produced the beats, learned to mix, learned to master, had to get better at writing, had to get better at rapping, had to get better at recording. Finally, I came up with this project that means the world to me because it was based off like my brother and my brother's journal entries and stuff.
okay,
And I released it before I ever released a song. And now the latest single that I have probably has more views than most of the songs on my project.
yeah, but
Right? So
yeah,
so you have to think like, but had I not taken the years to work on my craft, like all that accumulated experience, like I was able to just have it automatically and drop it into my new song. Like I don't worry so much about how am I gonna mix this, how am I gonna master this. I'm like, I literally have my preset, my I have my habit, like the plugins that I use. I'm like, okay, drag and drop and then
okay,
adjust for the song.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
But so
so
you
it's
took
like,
4 years to release
yeah,
your first project. So when
yeah.
did you start So you're 23 right now, right?
Yeah,
So when did
24. I turned 24 in August now. So
okay.
yeah.
So when exactly did you start working on that project?
Let's see. I came up with the title for Reflections of a Stranger maybe 2015, 2016. I
Wow.
released in 2019.
Okay. So you were still in
Uh,
school? This was before undergrad? Or
yes. So I graduated high school and I went to a 1-year program for audio engineering, and I graduated from that in 2016. And my parents were like, "All right, cool," because it's audio engineering, but
yeah,
really it's
yeah,
like making music. But
yeah,
that was my way of selling it to them. I was like, "All
yeah. No,
right."
definitely, definitely. I'm looking to do that now. You know, I kind of went on a path where I did not. I was writing music since I was 15 years old. I have over
Right,
like 550 songs written in my notes, and I've released three.
right,
So there are a lot of different songs written in a lot of different mind states, whether it was a heartbreak song or a song that I was in love with. I don't know if you saw my previous interview. I that guy was talking about these mind states that you're in. Like you
hmm
gotta
hmm
write your best stuff when you're in uh, a more heightened mindset. Something's going really good in your life, or something's going really bad in your life.
right,
That's usually when I've written my best songs. Going,
right.
but I decided to go to school and do public relations and advertising just because I loved writing. I thought that it would be, you know,
Right,
all writing and I'd be great at it. And it didn't really develop my skills as much as I wanted it to,
right,
but it developed it to an extent where I was using better vocabulary in my writing, and
right,
the experiences that I had in college really influenced my writing. And
right.
it was a great time, but I wish I did do something related to audio engineering to up my skills in the field that I know I want to go in.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's hard. Like these are not easy decisions. You know what I mean? So it's that's why I say it's never too. It can't be too late.
Right.
You know, when you've built up the energy to get the courage to do those things, how can that be too late? Like it came when it came. The thing is like these, yeah, again, like I said before, these are not easy decisions, right? For you to pick up your stuff and say, okay, everybody's telling me that I should go to get my undergrad, you know, and you're like what, 17, 18, you're a kid,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know, and you're supposed to tell them, hey, like, you know, middle fingers to y'all, like, you know, I don't know if we're allowed to swear or anything, but
Yeah,
um
it's chill. I
okay,
make it
so
not made for kids on YouTube.
okay,
It's
perfect,
all
perfect.
cool.
So if you're like fuck y'all, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to school for audio engineering. I'm not even sure I would have done the same thing. Like I don't know if you know, but in 2014 my brother passed away.
Oh,
Um yeah,
I mean,
and so
if you don't mind, like, how did that happen? I can
uh
cut out of the interview. Is just like
yeah, yeah, no
I don't want
worries.
to go off this topic right now.
Yeah, he died by suicide. And so he
Oh,
was actually he was a rapper first. I was a dancer. I wanted to go into dance and theater, but when he passed away, I was like, whoa, you know, like for me at that point, I realized how short life was. And I was gonna go to there's a university here like called McMaster's University in Ontario or University of Toronto, and I've gotten accepted to both. And I always thought I was gonna go to university, but when that happened, I was like, nah, you know what I mean? And by that point, it's like when you realize, and I think it's a key when you realize how short life is, like a lot of this stuff doesn't matter, man. Like people's opinions, what you think of yourself, it's like you're scared now to try it. You're scared now. Yeah, you've never mixed a song for sure. You've never mastered a song, but it's like you go at it for 2 weeks and you'll get somewhere. Like you won't be where you started. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
life is too short to let those things stopgap you, right?
sure.
And when I first started making beats, it took me like 6 months to go from my first beat to my second beat because I was scared. And this is after, this is like 2015, like after my brother passed away. It was still terrifying. But eventually it's like, it's all about taking that first step, you know?
Absolutely.
Right? And that's kind of like the big thing, you know? Like it's and so that project, that first project that I made was based off my brother's rap journals and his vocal recordings. And if you even go on Spotify and listen to No More, which is the second last song on the album, that's my brother. That's not me. That's his song that he wrote, recorded at like 17,
Wow.
you know? And so for me, like making the music, honestly, it was like, it's a homage to him. But at the same time, it's like, one thing that I've realized is I never considered myself to be a talented person. Um, I just, I learned dance at 15, 16, which is late because some dancers are going to dance school since they're 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just did it every single day with my friends, every single day. And then before I knew it, I was teaching professionally. I was battling professionally. I was winning competitions. But at first, I really, really sucked. Like I have footage. It's not like, oh, I think I sucked. It's like, no, I have footage of me dancing in like my community center, like garbage, you know? And the first time I saw myself dancing on camera, I cried because I thought I was way better than I was. Yeah, man, it was messed up. I was sad. Like I was like, whoa, I thought I knew it, but I'm like, I don't have the talent. You know what I mean? And I worked hard, and then eventually I got it. And then after that, like, I'm like, okay, so if I want to learn piano, like, you just got to do it.
Just gotta do it.
You just got to do it. I want to learn how to mix. Okay, I guess I just got to do it. I want to learn how, I've never mastered a song. Okay, it's all about that first step. And there's always a moment of hesitation. Even to this day, when I'm learning a new skill, I'm still scared. Like, I'm like, oh, I finally developed some skills I feel like I'm good at. Now I have to go back to that place of sucking. Like, dang it. You know? But like, when it came to the music video, I'm like, okay, this part doesn't sit right. Nah, I'm going to boom, 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 download Premiere, figure it out. You know what I mean? Ask my friends, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And it wasn't until I was at version 57 of that cut that I'm like, okay, that I made version 57 after I got, that I'm like, okay, now this is where I'm at.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, a lot of being an artist is like, the reason why people respect artists so much is because they do and say the things that most people are scared to do and say. And so you as an artist, like, you got to take that as your job description. Like, that's what vulnerability is. You're like saying, yeah, this shit's scary. Like, I feel weak in this moment. Am I going to do it? Hey, like, yeah, no choice.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we love artists, because they'll say that thing. You're like, yo, I always felt that, but I would have never said that out loud.
Right.
You know, and usually when you find those things, those end up being your best songs, your best lyrics, like, you know, the things that hit the deepest.
Oh, for sure. I know when I've tried to sing some of my songs to my friends, it's been scary because I'm
Right.
exposed in that moment, right? My
Right.
lyrics are personal. They're
Right.
related to things that I've been through. So I start shivering and my heart's pounding.
Right.
It's like, damn, like I'm telling you something so personal and with
Right.
such exact words that, you know,
Right.
I mean, people will still be able to relate them to their own stories, but it's still your story and it's coming from
Right.
you. If it comes from you, they know that this is your story. So in
Mhm.
that moment, that live moment, it's mad scary because you're just weak. You're exposed in that moment.
Right.
Uh,
And what I would say to that is, like, again, what helped me kind of get over that, because it is terrifying. It still is terrifying. If I have to spit live in front of someone and be like, yo, how is this song? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how do you feel about the lyrics? I'm like, is this person even listening to the lyrics, or do they just want the beat and the bop? You know what I mean? Like, you
yeah,
still get that thought, even as a rapper, right? It's like, I don't sing,
yeah,
right? So I can't just like lull my way into your graces. But the thing is like, when I was in college, for example, I would make songs and I would be like, yo, can you sit down and listen to this? I would just go to people not because I was courageous, but because I'm like, I have to get over this fear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I just gotta run these songs to as many people. And every time I got a reaction where someone was like, "Oh, that's good," or "Yo, that's cool," for me, I was like, garbage. Because I'm like, I don't want a whatever reaction or a meh reaction.
Yeah.
I was like, I would keep, and that's what fueled me. I was like, okay, they just went, "Oh, that's all right." Nah, trash, right?
Trash.
Make a new, either rewrite the song, or if it's too much work, whatever, make a new song.
Yeah.
Cool. How's this? It's good. Nah, that's not good enough for me. Cool. Rewrite. Make a song. Yo, that's sick.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, now I have some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I know
so
what you mean.
being an artist is really weird because it's a balance of like being vulnerable and being resilient at the same time. So like the mindset that helps me to do that is like, look, when I write a song, it's for me. When I release a song, it's for other people. So I can write a song that's for me. I'm like, okay, cool. Will this reach other people? Nah, this one was just for me. That's fine. But then if I write a song and I'm like, okay, cool, and I really want it to be for other people, what's the best way to do it? You show people. And if you get those reactions, then you like, okay, this is what they felt, you know? And then I realized, oh, I can't spit it live because then they don't get the real experience of them just listening to the song. So first I would record it, learn to mix it, learn to master it. And part of me learning to mix it is showing people, and they're like, oh, but the volume's too low on the vocals, or the volume's too low on the beat, or whatever, right? Or it sounds weird. And
Yeah.
like I had to go through that and be like, oh, okay, I'll fix the mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I send it, then I go back, have a track, kind of properly mixed, kind of properly mastered. I show people, and then they're like, sounds all right. And I'm like, oh, garbage. You know what I mean? But for
Yeah.
longest time, also, I was hesitant to learn how to master. But whenever I tried to show someone my mix and they would turn it up in their car, it wouldn't go loud enough because it
Right.
wasn't mastered. So the volume was too low. And so
Yeah.
I constantly got that problem. And I'm like, okay, I can't even show people music anymore because they don't even get to hear it as loud as they want. So let me fix that first and
I
then come back.
I know, man. I've gone through the same thing with the first 2 or 3 songs that I released. I try to
Right.
bump it in the car, and it
Yeah.
was just so trash. Like no one could hear what
Mhm.
I was saying. I couldn't hear what I was saying. Like I just knew the
Yeah.
lyrics, but I could like focus on that part. So like, but the
Right.
music was just so bad. It made it so
Yeah, man.
yeah.
It's just the way it is. Like you just gotta go. You just gotta be real with yourself, and you gotta test, constantly test. It's literally market testing. Like if you went to school, school for that,
Yeah.
like it's market testing, and you have to do that as an artist. Go to people whose opinions you trust and market test. You
Yeah.
know, and until you get the whoa, this is like dope. Like okay, so with my latest single, Sideways, why did I release that song? You wanna know why?
Why?
It's because when I showed people the song, they listened to the song, they're like, yo, that's dope. I'm like, okay, sick. I turned off the song. And then 5 minutes later, I would hear someone go, I've had bad days, you make days bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, exactly.
Right? Or
Yeah.
they would tell, or if I was showing more than one person, they would, like my homie would go to my other homie, he'd be like, I've had bad days, you make days bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so this just
Oh,
naturally caught on. I
yeah.
didn't have to I didn't have to force it. I didn't have to say the lyric, nothing. That's what they took from it. I'm like, okay, this is dope. You know, I already liked the song a lot. I was very proud of the song. But then I showed it and everyone's like, and I had a bunch of songs. I had like 10 something songs.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, you should release that one out of all of these. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know? So um yeah, so that's it. Like I would just say, like, if you're hesitant, it's all about once you take that first step, it's a lot easier to take the second.
That's good to hear, man. That's really good to hear. I've been going through so much with my conflicting thoughts about, man, why did I get a job after university? I was just like, man,
Right.
I decided after university, I'm like, that's it. I did what I had to do to make myself proud. In fact, it was first to make myself proud. I'm like, man, I got my degree, you know, like I have a backup just in case, but is that really what I want? Then I started questioning that. I was like, is that really what I want? Do I want a backup? Because I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm not the type of person who would just half-ass something. I'm just like, I want to be an artist. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a rock star. Like, that's what I want to do no matter what. But I also don't want to be dependent on something, on someone, or like my parents after a certain period of time. And I want to be able to fund myself to be that person. So I got my degree. After that, I was like, all right, I have a business of my own. My father has a business of his own, which I was supposed to help out with, which wouldn't take too much of my time just because it's set in its own ways. And obviously I'm the boss's kid. I won't have to really
do as much,
right? I wouldn't have that, oh shit, I'm going to get fired. You know, like if I don't go to the office today. I could not go to the office today. It would be fine. Work on my craft. But there's just something that just kept eating away at me. It's just that I don't know if you have that or if you had that like with your parents growing up. It's like this would make them proud, and like why would you not want to make them proud, right? Like it's just like they've done so much for me. I might as well do something to make them proud. But in the end, you realize that all they care about is you being happy. They don't care about nothing more than you being happy. And if you're sad doing what you're doing to make them proud, that'll just make them even more sad. They'll just be like, man.
I mean, if you have good parents, that's the thing too, right? I mean, like I'm blessed with my parents. Like I love my parents, and they've been supportive, and that's a privilege I get to say that I have. You know what I mean? We went through a lot of shit, but at the end of the day, like they believe. But there's no, like I said before, there's no wrong answer. Think about what all these other rappers had to do. Even Reason, the new rapper who signed to TDE, I don't know if you know, but he had to scrounge up $50,000 before he could even talk to Top Dog. Right? We gotta hustle. Like, make your money. Do what you gotta do. Like for me, I'm spending money trying to figure out how Facebook advertisement works. I spent at least $5,000 of my money on the Midas video. I spent like $1,000, like out of pocket. I spent at least $1,000 on the Sideways video. Yeah. How much money did I make back from music? $50?
Yikes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not, but I'm trying to run a business, and every business starts off with an upfront cost.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like it's a long-term investment.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose money here, you're gonna lose money there, but you have to believe in the product, right? Yeah. And there's no, trust me, you think you believe in your music, but the way you put that to the test is, are you willing to spend money on it? Right?
Right.
That's the thing, right? It's like someone could say, wow, I really believe in your business. Your business is amazing. Like, I think it's really gonna go far. And you're like, really? Yeah? Okay, great, because I need $500 to start up my business. And they'll be like, oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to like, it's good that you got a job. It's good that, don't think of it as a backup plan. Think of it as sustenance while you're building your business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And
so
a lot of people
own money. Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of people will shit on themselves for doing that. It's like, nah, like be grateful. You put in time, you put in effort, and you put those resources. Maybe you could have spent those years focusing solely on music, and maybe it would have worked out. But who gives a shit? It's like you're here now.
Yeah.
You have a way of making money. Make the money, and you'll probably be able to accelerate your growth because you're not relying on angel investors. You're not relying on someone to sponsor you. You're not relying on, you know what I mean? Like, that's okay. Like, part of the rap culture is the hustle culture. Like, you know, you hustle, you make money, and you provide for yourself, and then you learn to provide for your people.
Very well said.
So
part of the rap culture is the hustle culture. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so it's like, no, listen, everyone will talk, say whatever they want until you make it. And when you make it, it invalidates everything that's been said.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like people will be like, oh, this person, look, people will be like, oh, Cardi B had to strip, but look at where she's at now. Look, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
she had to replace her teeth, but look at where she's at now. And it's the truth. It's like she hustled, she put herself in a position where she wanted to. Now she's good. So just do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And it's an endearing story. Like your story is relatable to people, right? It's like I did my undergrad. I had an instinct. I didn't necessarily follow it because we were told that we're supposed to do something, which we are told this generation. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That we were supposed to go to school. We were promised that this would lead us to stability, a financial future that we can rely on. It wasn't the truth, right? Because no one knew what they were talking about. So
yeah,
it's like here you are now, mid 20s, mid 30s, whatever age you're at, even if you're 17, 18, being like, okay, how do I figure this out and sustain for myself? You know what? I believe in something, I'm gonna do it. Like that's a story that people can get down with. You know what I mean?
definitely.
And people care less and less about age when it comes to music now. They care more about who you are as a person, your story, and your music.
Absolutely. Definitely. So, what exactly inspired you to be an artist? Was it because your brother was an artist?
Yeah. So my brother had I started rapping at 10, but my brother had been rapping since he was like 7. So my brother's 2 years older than me.
Okay.
So he started rapping when I was like 5, and then like I started rapping when I was 10. And so he would like freestyle, like he would literally sit me down, play YouTube beats, and just like freestyle to me for like 2 hours at a time. And like I would just listen, you know. And I was growing up, I was too shy to rap in front of him because I didn't want to copy him. Like, you know, I didn't want to be like, okay, I'm copying him. So I found street dance. So I was a popper. I learned street dance. I learned to like battle, and that was my main kind of thing. But throughout the whole time, all of high school, I went to an art school for theater, and they had a music department, and all my homies were from the music department. So I would sit there, write raps, and show my homies in high school, and then never tell anyone outside of high school that I rap. Um, so yeah, it was definitely my brother. It was definitely my brother. He showed me Tupac. Tupac was the first rap artist that I'd ever heard, and Changes was the first song I ever downloaded
Wow.
on my MP3.
Wow. For me,
Yeah,
the first song I ever downloaded MP3 was Marshall Mathers LP. Like the whole album, the whole album. I just
right,
downloaded.
right, 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 right.
I
Interesting.
have that album back here, and
Yeah,
that's just yeah. Eminem was so influential to me.
yeah. Eminem was really dope. He was very influential to me later. I think Tupac was the first, and then it was Eminem. Um, yeah, and then in
I
high
think.
school it was definitely Kendrick when he came out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think you being in Canada, you would have gotten into hip hop earlier than I would have. I was born
Right,
raised in Bangkok, Thailand, where the
right,
culture was EDM for the
right.
longest for the longest time, man. For the longest,
Interesting.
I went like I think till my senior year, everyone was still going to like ultra festivals and jamming out
Right,
to EDM and wasn't really into hip hop. Hip hop came after I came into university. All my
right,
friends in high school started listening to hip hop because they all went to
right,
university in America or Canada or
right,
where hip hop was the culture. But I
right.
started listening to Eminem and Mac Miller actually. Eminem and Mac
Oh,
Miller
nice.
were my first two. That's why I got a Mac album back there as well. His
Dope.
latest one, Circles. But oh man, Mac Miller. I think that he was one of the Eminem was one of the people who really influenced me into enjoying hip hop. But
Right,
Mac Miller was someone who influenced my writing.
right,
His songs the songs that he wrote when he was so young about being a kid. Literally, one of the lyrics in the songs is, "I'm just a motherfucking kid. Like
right,
his time will come. Like
right,
relax, like everyone was like beating down on him, like when he was talking about random stuff, but he was like, man, I'm just a kid, I'm talking about being a kid and having fun, like
right,
just relax. But yes, hugely influential to me, Mac Miller and Eminem.
right. Dope.
And next question, is about your artist name.
Hmm.
How did you come up with your artist name? Why did you decide to choose your middle name and then add an A at the end of it as your artist name?
Okay, yeah, great question. So funny enough, like, so for those who don't know, my full name is Gautam Siddharth Tiwari. Um, and my dad named me after the Buddha or the Buddha, and and whose name is Siddhartha Gautama, right? And so I was thinking for a long time, like, what should my artist name be? What should my artist name be? I found out like about Drake and how Drake is his middle name, like it's Aubrey Drake Graham.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, word. And for the longest time as a kid, it was funny that I was the only one in my family with a middle name.
Sorry.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I was the only one in my family with a middle name, which was always cool to me. It was always like a little thing of pride. And I didn't want it to be Gotham because I felt like people would confuse it with Gotham and and have like the Batman reference constantly for my first name. So I was like, okay, Siddharth. And then when I found out that um the original name was Siddhartha, I was like, I like that. So then I changed the spelling so that when people try and search up the Buddha, they don't, or when they try and search me up, they don't get the Buddha. So yeah, and then I just decided to stick with Siddhartha because I'm into Buddhist philosophy, and I like the principles of self-awareness and and um the principle of detachment, because I think as an artist it works to a certain degree. It's like, yes, you have to be one with your feelings, but for you to be able to do that, you have to be aware of what's going on. um and so that those philosophies always stuck with me.
Hmm.
um and I feel like, you know, they represent how I live, and so I felt like my name was like, I didn't need to make up a name. Like, I was like, I like this. And I just like the sound of Siddharth. Sorry, my voice cracked. I just like the sound of Siddhartha more than Siddharth. I like the
Oh,
third too.
nice. It's
Like, it has a ring to it
yeah,
to me.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I
Oh,
was
and
wondering.
sorry, the other big thing is I didn't want to whitewash my name.
Okay.
Um, because I felt like that was too easy. Like,
Right.
I was like, do we constantly have to acclimate to make ourselves marketable, or can I make myself dope enough that people will learn my name? And when you look at artists like XXX Tentacion, or when you look at artists like Black spelt with a literal six, it's like, nah, if you're dope, if you stand by what you do and you have a strong like message or good music or whatever, then people will take the effort to learn your name. So don't make it easy for them. Like, at one point I was like, should I just go by Sid? And I'm like, no.
Nah.
Like,
Yeah.
people can call me Sid personally if you want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
but like, the name is Siddartha.
That's cool.
So that was a big one.
Actually making me question some of my choices now because when I released one of my first songs,
Hmm.
it sounded a little bit like an XXX song. So like
Hmm.
XXX Tentacion song. So someone commented, so my Instagram handle is Manavian.
Right.
My name is Manav, but
Right.
someone commented XXX Manavian to kind
Right.
of make it sound like, oh, you know, this is something similar to XXX Tentacion's song. Like it
Right.
sounds
Right.
kind of
Right.
like it. So I took the XXX out and just made it Manavian. And that
Right.
stuck. Like I didn't ever think about why. Well, I mean, I used to think about it in school just because like growing up in a
Right.
school where it was like I had like 60 different nationalities and it was always really
Mm.
difficult to say like my name is Manav, not
Right.
Manav or Manav or Manav or
Right.
it was difficult to like do that. But I started telling people my name is Manav like I think maybe 2 years before
Right.
From high school, like I started like being able to be comfortable with saying my name and making other people
Right.
say my name correctly.
Right.
But when it came to my artist name, I was like, man, Manav, just like plain Manav. And even the meaning behind it is just
Yeah.
it's just human.
Right.
Manav means human.
Right.
So what actually came with Manavian was that first it was Manav ion. It was
Right.
like the human charge, whether
Right.
it's positive or negative. So that's what it is. I have a podcast that I run through Anchor, and
Right.
it's called Manav Ion, the Human Charge.
Dope.
So that's what actually that's what it was supposed to be. But now
Right.
everyone's just like Manavian. You know, I'm just like, damn. I guess Manavian's cool too. Like it's fine, but I can have
But is it though?
I can have two separate personas. That could be my rap persona, and then like my podcast persona would be Manav Ion. But it's not. It's like Manav Ion doesn't really have a flow. You feel?
So what I was gonna say is like I think that's dope. I like the meaning of it. I think and even today, even to this day, sometimes when I meet people I struggle too. Like sometimes I'm like, it's hard to how do you explain to someone who's never done it? Like my name is Gotham, not Gotham.
God.
Gotham, not Gotham.
Yeah.
Gotham.
Yeah.
They don't get it. They're like Gotham.
God.
Gotham. Gotham.
Because they
Gotham.
don't have the duh. They don't have the duh in their
Yeah,
language, right?
exactly. So it's like even to this day, I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. It's Gotham.
Yeah.
All right, like it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fine. So maybe you know what, you're inspiring me to maybe push a little harder for that. But I just like the sound. I like the sound of Mono. Like I think that's dope. I'm like, yo, Mono just came out with a new song. Nav is Nav.
Nav.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Manav is dope. It's short. It has a ring to it. Like, you know, you might have to compete with the other Manavs out there who are making music, but change the spelling. Like, find a way to like, you know what I mean?
Man, there are no Manavs making music. Literally, no other Manavs are making music. There's, there's just one Manav, and his last name is also my last name. There's this one Manav Tucker
Right,
who's
right,
all over the internet for being like a
right,
table tennis champion. Like if I search my name, luckily my name is with a KKER instead of
right,
KKAR, Tucker.
right.
So like when you search my name nowadays, all of my stuff comes up. But
Dope.
before they would like want to autocorrect my name to AR, and
Right.
and then they would show like that table tennis player who's like a champion. He's won like so many competitions. I'm like,
Hilarious.
it was
Yeah,
mad.
but like I like a big reason for me to pick even names of songs or the way it's like it's also just by ear. Does it sound, you know what I mean? And if you're like again, it's all about you, right? If you it like just from the way that you told me about your name, it almost makes it sound like you shouldn't use Manavian. Because if you went, yo, my name is Manavian, it stands for Manav and Ion and a human who's positive or negative, and I just think it's so dope and that means the world to me, I would have been invested. I've been like, yo, that's sick, Manavian, all right, word. But you yourself went, people say it's dope, but I don't know. So that
Yeah.
means it's not for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these are the things as artists that like people have to tap into. It's like, yo, am I being honest with myself?
Yeah.
Because if you're hesitating about your name, how are you supposed to go to someone and be like, yo, my name's Manavian and I'm making music, and yo, remember the name if you don't even want to remember the name?
Yeah, because I don't say it with the right energy, right? Like I wouldn't even say it with the right energy. Like my name is Manavian. It's like I'm already like holding back, like when I'm saying that, because it doesn't sound like something I would say about myself, like ish.
Right.
Yeah.
So then if that's something you should look into. Like for me, I knew that Siddartha worked for me because I was putting it in songs and verses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was
So when was
like
the first time you released your song with the name Siddartha?
Murphy's Law. So that was in the project, but it was like the third or the fourth. So I released like 12 songs all at once as my first release.
Okay.
But Murphy's Law, what was the lyric? Sick of the months, like I'm feeling so blind, I feel to be tripping on bonds. Fall until I hit the bottom, making that bottom line. Eventually, you'll put Siddartha in your top 5. Statistics don't apply to my lyrics. I make the charts fly. That was the first time. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And to me, that felt right. Like, so that was the first song that I ever released with my name in it.
Okay.
Probably it might be the only one, but I have other ones unreleased that like I'm like, yeah, that's my name.
That's
um,
sick. That was a sick line for sure. That was sounds really sick. I'm definitely gonna check more of your stuff out. So far, I've only checked out a couple, maybe like 2 or 3 of your songs,
yeah, yeah. But yeah, yeah. Take your time, check it out.
but man, did I relate. So we're gonna talk about that in a bit. I just want to know, who are your top 5 artists of all time right now?
Okay. First off, I'm gonna put Kendrick, Jay-Z, top 5 artists. I'm gonna put D'Angelo, uh, Kendrick, artists, right? Not just rappers,
Yeah, let's say artists. Yeah,
artists in general.
like musical artists.
Okay, Kendrick, Jay-Z, D'Angelo, J. Cole, because of how influential he was on me, like growing up. Um, and who'd be last one? I said D'Angelo. Who did I really bump? Mm, I want to say I'm gonna put Music Soul Child because I used to listen to a lot of old Music Soul Child.
Okay.
Um, his music now I'm not, but like some of the whole like he's a like neo soul R&B singer.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's fire. And so I have like Half Crazy or Beautiful or Just Friends. Like those songs to me are like phenomenal, and I would have them on repeat.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna say that's my 5. I might change it in the future, but I'll just stick with what I said.
Yeah.
But definitely, Kendrick was a huge influence for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
as he is on most people. I think most rappers.
Mm-hmm. And currently, which song have you been putting on repeat? Which song has there been a particular song that you've been listening to, like you've just been addicted? So for me right now, I've been listening to Sideways all the time. I'm listening, I'm listening to it all the time. I'm showing all my friends too. I'm just like, man,
Yo,
listen to the lyrics, man. Listen to the chorus. It is the best chorus I've heard in a while. Like it is so sick.
much
Yeah.
much love, bro. I appreciate that. A song that I was listening to recently was "Feel" by Kendrick
Okay.
off Damn. But I haven't been listening to a lot of like recently. I listened to the Benny the Butcher project, which is
Okay.
fire. I just heard that it's fresh off the presses. It came out like maybe 2 days ago.
Mm,
That shit was fire. But there hasn't been like a song that I've been on like repeat.
right.
Oh, I was listening to a lot of Giveon.
What's that?
Giveon. He was on one of Drake's newer tracks,
Okay.
Chicago Freestyle. And then I found his
Okay.
music
Okay. I
through
think I
that.
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He sang the chorus, the 2:30 and what
Oh
you
yeah. 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 Yeah.
trying to meet
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
by the V.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever, no, I did it. Yeah. So that guy, he's super dope. Yeah, that's oh, you know who's a dope artist that I really, really respect? Jacob Collier. He's like he's like a master musician. Like he plays pianos and he's like musical, like for real. Like he's super dope. Like he's phenomenal musician and even singer as well. And like you should check him out. That guy's dope. It's fire.
Cool.
He made a
Definitely,
song with Daniel Caesar.
definitely will. Like shoot me a DM with his name. I'll definitely,
Yeah.
definitely check him out.
And you have this footage, so you'll probably go through it
Yeah,
again.
actually, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
But I'll send you it. Yeah.
Yeah. And out of all the songs that you have released so far, which one
Mhm.
is your favorite? You can only pick
Um,
one. Pick one. Like you can think about all the aspects of it, whether it was the beat, like the beat and the lyrics combined, the making of the project. Which one was your favorite so far?
um, favorite. I can only pick one. I'm gonna say Time.
Time.
Um, Maybe I don't know if it's like my favorite in the general sense of oh my gosh, I really like the lyrics and the beat, but it is hands down the hardest song and the most personal song I've ever written.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so that's a song where, like, I don't know if you want spoilers if you're gonna check it out, but it's a song where, you know, I pretty heavily detail, like, I'm speaking to my brother. And it was hard because I was writing the song, and then my homie, like one of my closest friends and someone who I consider like a mentor in music, Ibrahim, he basically, like, I was writing and I showed him, and he's like, nah. I showed him this song and it was called Toxic, and it was like, because I was pissed off at a friend for something, and it was like, and he's like, nah, but there's some really, and I said something messed up, so I was like, I wish I wasn't friends with you because I could have spent more time with my brother, kind of thing. It was really heavy, and probably, and it wasn't the correct thing, you know what I mean? I was projecting. I was just pissed at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like, but at the same time, he took the chorus, he put it on loop, made a beat behind it. He like played the keys and made a beat behind it. He was like, all right, now tell me what you really want to say. Shut the lights off, close the door, and then like 3 hours later, I finished that song. And it was probably after writing that song, I felt like I had become more mature in that moment. You know, I'd become way more honest with my feelings, way more vulnerable. I was like, this is all the stuff I really want to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Time for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it would have been one of the two that I had written down, but that's very.
Yeah. What were the two that you wrote down? What were the two that you wrote down?
Nah, I mean, it was either Midas or Sideways. I mean,
Yeah.
just because I related to them so much, like both of them, I related to them.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you next about Midas. So we're talking
Right.
about Midas first. I've just written down your chorus. Tell me if
Right.
I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I got the lyrics down correctly.
Right.
But the chorus is, because if the sex don't do it, then money will, money will, money will, money will. And if the drinks don't do it, then money will, money will, money will, money will. And if the drugs don't do it, then
money will, money will, money will, money will.
exactly. I could give a fuck about happiness, but I'll be happy when I buy a house in the fucking hills.
Yeah.
Man. Man. That hits so hard, man. How did you put that down, man? I was like, that's everything that I think about nowadays. Literally everything I think about nowadays. It's like,
Yo,
nothing makes me happy anymore. Like, nothing makes me happy anymore except for when I can buy a house in the fucking hills. It's like,
right.
That's exactly what I took from it, you know? And because that's how I feel too. Like,
Right.
in relation
Right.
to the song, that's how I've been feeling lately too. It's like, man, all this stuff, because I've indulged in going out with friends and drinking and
Right.
partying and just women and
Right.
and
Okay.
it's all very temporary, right?
I feel you.
It's
Yeah.
all very temporary. So like the only thing is success and money.
Right.
Right.
No,
So I want to know what what you were thinking when you wrote this down.
So the funny thing about that song is, like, that was the first trap beat I ever made. I was like, I tried making a trap beat. I was like, yo, this is kind of hard. And I was listening to the beat, and like it just came out. I was like, money will, 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 money will. And yo, to be honest, at that point in my life, I was broke. You know, like, we were financially managing, but money was always a stress. And I'm just like, yo, I can't focus on anything until I'm at least financially on my feet. And like, sometimes you're going through these struggles, and like everyone goes through their struggles regardless of their financial situation, but it's just like, yo, fuck, like at least if I had some money, I wouldn't have to worry about some of these other problems. So like, and it's funny because when I wrote that song, and so when I wrote that song, at first I was super like cringe about it because I wanted to be like this lyrical rapper, miracle rapping in your face, like bars only. You know what I mean? But something about that to me is like, nah, this is also me. Like this is also what I feel. Like
Yeah.
I can pretend like, oh, I always have something philosophical or dope, or like something that's real introspective. But like to me, this was more introspective than all of that shit because it was real. Like I was like, yo, like money can fix some of these issues. You know,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
I want to worry about the problems that people with money worry about. Like I'm okay having those problems. Just give me the money first. You know, and so um that was also, funnily enough, that was also a song that I think helped me become more mature as an artist because I was like, this is something I would be afraid to say in public. If the sex don't do it, then money will, money will, money will. You know, I don't even drink or smoke that often, like ever, if ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't. But it's always like we're always looking to something to like kind of ease our pain or our suffering. You know, and it's the same thing. It's that Buddhist philosophy. Life is suffering,
Yeah.
right? Life is
Right.
suffering. And so
Yeah.
what happens? We get tempted. We're like, yo, you know, like I felt that. I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? I want to meet a bunch of women. I just want to drink, have fun, party. I just want to smoke, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, of
Yeah.
course you have those temptations. And then
Yeah.
you're like, but if none of that works, like cash is like
Yeah.
that's what,
Cash is king.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so like, and I just felt like where I was at, a lot of the people my age were at, it's like, yo, like we want, even if you're financially well off, it doesn't mean you're financially independent. And so like people are just searching to be able to like have their own, you know. And so like I wrote it, and then I was like, "Mhm, yeah, this feels about right." And like it was really, again, it was really hard for me not to go lyrical miracle on people, but I was like, nah, like I'm gonna keep the lyrics mad like simple,
Yeah.
you know, and like even slow. And I'm like, because I was just like, I wanted to be in the character and really be true to like, yeah, this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, you wrote the lyrics, you made the beat too?
yeah,
You
yeah,
made the beat and
yeah,
you had a team to like help you make the music video for that then, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like direction
So
and all that kind of stuff.
well, we spent months, me and my girlfriend, we spent months pitching for funding from Ryerson University. So we got sponsored by Ryerson. And like, again, because the project was dedicated to my brother, there's this whole mental health aspect of it. So what we did was, the way we pitched it is we got students from Ryerson to work on set with us, to help us do the release party of the album, to like be actors on set, to be makeup people. And like Ryerson liked it, and they gave us like 10K to make a video, and we
E-
did it.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's such a great story, man. That's such a great
yeah.
story, man.
It's ironic because it's for that, we hustled and we got the money to do the video. Like, was I left broke afterwards? Yeah, but we put all the, well, like, because the money had to go to the video, right? And
Yeah,
then we would get reimbursed by the university. Um, yeah, and so it was super dope, and I'm super grateful for that experience. But yeah, that's how we put it together.
that's so cool, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's a
yeah,
real hustle story.
yeah. And it was funny because it was actually my girl who like convinced me to do it, because she was in her final year and they did like funding projects, like you could pitch projects.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I can't just ask for money. Like you can't just do that.
Yeah, you can't just
It
Yeah.
feels weird.
Feels weird. It does.
But it's like, no, bro. Yeah, yes, you can. But this is one of those things. It's like the
Yeah.
reason why I said I couldn't ask for money is because I didn't believe. But I'm like, nah, this shit is dope. This is valuable. I can give people a good experience. I deserve money for this, to do this. Right. And that's the shift in mindset. You know, the difference between that mindset is me getting 10K to do a video, or me not, and having to finagle the whole thing myself and hope that something dope comes out of it.
Yeah. Damn.
You know, so it's like, so fine. Like, you don't got to be like, oh, I believe in myself. Let me waste $5,000 and make mistakes, and then now I'm broken in the gutter. But you can go like, I believe in myself so much that I'm a like this. someone's got to put money in this if it's not me.
Yeah. Well,
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
for sure, for sure. That's a really cool way to go about it. You're giving me some really great ideas about how to go about my stuff. Like even though I may be like making the money to like pay people to like help me do my stuff, why don't I just go to a university and be like, yo, film students, you want experience? Like,
Right.
help me do this. Let's do a project together, you know? Like, they don't have to fund me per se, but like, I'm sure they'll just want to do it for the experience of it.
100%. And
You know?
it's like, yo, you find like this is what you do. You find people, you show them the music, and they're like, yo, this is dope. I'd love to do something on that. Then sick. And if you never get that, then you're like, all right, then I just need to make a song that makes people do that.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to have the song that makes people do that, though.
It's not, but keep in mind, it's not the song that makes people do that. It's not you searching for a treasure trove. It's literally, again, it's just trial and error. Like, I had to do this. You go show people, they're like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I'd be down to work on it. Cool, then take it, do it.
Yeah.
But if they're like, I'm not really feeling the song, dope. That's good information to know. That's a good thing. You're not wasting your time because you're like, okay, cool. And people sometimes won't be able to tell you why. Like, it's your job as an artist to be able to figure out what about this song is not working, you know? And that's in those scenarios, I'd say, take your song, put it in. Take a song that you like that's similar. Take a song from an artist that's like high quality that you think is a dope song and put it side by side and play them back to back and be like, what is this missing?
Yeah.
And then get yourself to that position. You know,
Yeah.
the difference between, and again, I'm literally just starting, but for me, from my understanding, the difference between artists who make great quality content and the ones who don't is just the ones who make great quality content were willing to put themselves through the fire and be humble enough to be like, you know what, if this isn't resonating with people, all right, bet, let me get back to the lab and figure it out. That's part of the process of an artist. It's not like I write a song, I finish the song, I'm done, I release the song. It's like you write a song, finish a song, you say, what is it about this song that's dope? What is it about this song that can give something to people? And the best way to do it before you release it, you'll find out when you release it, when it's not getting the reception you want. But if you want to do it before you release it, you show people,
Yeah.
or you send it to people who you know will be honest. And that's the key.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So, Sideways, your latest single, is an absolute hit in my mind. Like I've told you before, an absolute
Thank you, man.
hit. People that work with me to put out content on the Brown Rappers Network,
Right.
kept singing, you know, you take time, I make time. Out of nowhere, like they'll just be sitting with me and we're looking through content to like post for the next couple days and stuff. You take time, I make time. I was like, damn. And the same with you. I've had bad days, but make days bad.
Right.
That thing you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Those two lines are so significant, man. I feel like in everyone's life, so significant. So it's just one of those songs with a hook so smooth and so catchy that you can almost just presume that it's gonna be a hit worldwide. Like I'm waiting for it to be a hit. Like I'm excited. I'm excited for the song. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for
much love.
I'm just excited, like, cause you are literally one of my newest favorite artists with Midas and Sideways. I'm just like,
much love. Man,
this is crazy. This is crazy.
Thank you, man.
Cause lately all the Indian artists that have been coming across my feed have been well Hindi artists. They've been singing in Hindi and stuff, and really someone to represent a third cultured kid. Third culture Indian kid who you know can rap and actually pursued his career in music. I mean, apart from Nav, obviously, like Nav was like first brown boys in the game, but completely different style to what
and one of the only still.
Yeah, if not the only one from a third cultured background. Yeah. So looking at the stats for this song, it's also doing the best out of all of your song
Right.
released on YouTube so far, and it's only been
Yeah.
out for about a month now.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you who made like tell me more about your team that worked on you with Sideways.
Oh, with Sideways? Okay.
Yeah,
When we're talking about the song, like that was just me from start to finish in my bedroom, beat
lyrics
recording,
in your bedroom. You
mixing.
recorded it in your bedroom.
Yeah. Everything.
So
Everything.
how does that work? Because I always seem to have airy vocals when I'm recording in my
Well,
bedroom. What
so
mic do you use?
I got an MK4. That's the mic that I use. I use MK4 Scarlett interface, and then I have headphones. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I have a little phone ball that I use.
Sorry, I didn't get you there. The phone kind of like
Uh,
silenced your voice.
yeah. I think someone tried to call me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll just repeat what I said. So I have an MK4, I have a Scarlett interface, like a 2i4, and a little foam ball that I ordered from Amazon for like $40. It took a month to come in, but yeah, so I recorded in my bedroom. But again, now that I have the knowledge of audio engineering, it's like I already know the challenges that the recording faces going into the mic. So I know how to address them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like whether the mixing, like for example, proximity effect. If you get close to a mic, you get a lot of low end, like bassy sound that rumbles in your mix, and you can't even hear it, but it just makes your mix muddy. So you cut all of that out from the jump. Like just little tips like that to know about recording and sound space. But yeah, so I recorded it, mixed it and mastered it in my bedroom, and then like a friend of mine made the artwork. And then another homie of mine, we did the video, and all the dancers in the video are friends of mine. Because again, I'm a dancer, so these are all like really, really close people to me.
Right.
And yeah, it just turned out like super dope, and I'm really proud of it.
That's awesome, man. So I know
Yeah.
a lot of my friends who I've showed your song Sideways to would really appreciate you actually singing the chorus for us live right here from is it it's like that from West Side, everyone's sideways, you take time, I make time. From there all the way
Yeah.
to hands to the roof, I got my thoughts, my squats, my peace, my canines. I didn't get to take my
Oh,
from there to
dang.
from there. Man,
All
man.
right. So all right. Okay.
Just
So
give a shout
well,
out to the Brown Rappers Network that this is for you, and go from there.
all right, yo. Shout out to the Brown Rappers Network. This is for y'all. Don't usually do this, so this is definitely for y'all. Okay.
All right.
Um, Bad from the wayside, everyone sideways. You take time, I make time. I've had bad days, you make days bad. That is just don't play right. Hands to the roof, I got my dogs, my squad, my piece, my canines. No, you can't take mines. Watch your step, I make mines blow up on the timeline. Yeah.
Sick, sick.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there you go.
sick.
And yeah. So actually, the first line is back from the wayside.
Wait,
Um,
yeah.
and Wayside Stories is an old cartoon show that I used to watch as a kid. And if you look at the artwork of Sideways, and you search up Wayside Stories, it's literally a mirror copy of the cartoon, just me and my friends instead of the main character and the other characters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And what made you think about you take time, I make time? Did it
Honestly,
come to you
just
naturally?
flowed.
Just wrote
Yeah,
it?
just flowed. It was funny.
Because that's very relatable in the way that a lot of people complain, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I relate to it because I myself have complained about not having the time to do
Mhm.
because, you know,
Right.
I'm just like, man, even nowadays, even though I know
Right.
that it's not right to complain about not having the time, it's just a natural
Right.
thought that occurs when you go to a 9 to 5 and you're just drained after that and you're like, man, I don't feel like doing
Right.
anything, and like I'm not able to get my artistic like goals achieved just because
Right.
I'm draining myself 9 to 5 and I don't have time for this shit. But man,
Right.
it's about the hustle, right? Again, rap, like
Yeah.
artist culture is hustle culture. Like you can't think that you don't feel like doing something right now. You have to do it if you want to get it done.
And Exactly. So there's that. But I think the caveat that I would say is like it's easy for us to romanticize everything, right? It still is a process. So even for me, sometimes I'll come home from work and I'm like, I want to make music, but I'm tired. Maybe I just want to talk to my homies, play video games, chill out. You know, like I fall into the same traps just like everyone else. But it's keep in mind it's the habit building, right? So every time you have that feeling of, oh, I really don't want to do work right now, if you train your body to respond of, I'm still going to do work, then your body gets into a habit and slowly it becomes easier, right? But and anything you do gets reinforced. So if every time you go, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, and then you decide to relax or rest, that's also getting reinforced.
Right.
So again, like back to them Buddhist philosophies, it's about being aware, understanding and being aware and being like, okay, I just finished work. I'm very tired. I have a choice right now. Okay. And sometimes the right answer is to go to sleep. You know, sometimes the right answer is to chill. You know what I mean? Because but I think the real right answer is to always try before you go to sleep. To be like, at least open the program, be like, okay, I'm literally falling asleep. All right, I'm gonna go to sleep.
All right.
It's like at least try. Like open up your program or your notebook or an instrumental of YouTube every day. At the very least. Like, and that will make all the difference. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I believe that for sure. Because I've had bad habits. I'm not gonna get into the specifics of the bad habits, but like I've
Right.
had bad habits which I would let control me until I was
Right.
like, man, I gotta say no. Like if I'm in this certain situation, I gotta say no. And
Right.
every time you say no, and every time suppose you get tired and you're like, nah, I'm at least gonna sit on the computer and do something.
Right. Right.
Your body gets trained for sure, but your mind, the voice in your head also grows larger. You're like, the voice that
Right.
says, nah, bro, just sleep, gets smaller than the voice that says,
Right.
get in your laptop and start doing something. That gets louder every time you make the decision to do so.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And again, we're all human, so you're gonna mess up. You're gonna fail every once in a while, but it's like
Yeah.
it's like be aware when you fail. Don't try and run away and be like, I'll fix it. Like be like, okay, I screwed up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hmm.
Why did I screw up? And then you try and figure it out. Again, it's a slow process, but that would be my thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's cool how when I'm asking you about the lyrics, you're like, man, it just flowed. It came out of me. But when I'm relating it to as a fan, as someone who's listening to your music, when I'm relating it to something
Right.
that's personal, something that happens in my life, like being
Right.
complaining about not having the time when you can make time,
Right.
right?
Right.
You know, you relate to that as well. You're like, right, that makes sense because your mind is kind of, from what I understand, your mind is kind of adjusted to Buddhist philosophies, which
Right.
is pretty much the most aware philosophy out there, right? It's just all about awareness and knowing how you can be who you want to be in
Right.
in a way, like in a better way, like,
Right.
yeah. And as
I
well as
mean, I don't know every single philosophy out there, but for me, that's the one that stuck. Like, you
right,
know? Right.
right. And even with I've had bad days, you make days bad.
Right.
Was there something you were thinking about, or was it flowing out of you at that time?
So, okay, even with the reason why you take back from the wayside, everyone sideways, you take time, I make time. Okay, so the I've had bad days, you make days bad came off the you take time, I make time. I'm like, oh, it's funny. Like, let me try and make something that mirrors that because it's catchy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, to your credit, yes, when I said you take time, I make time, I was like it flowed out first. But that's the thing, sometimes as artists, like these words will flow out and then we'll realize the meaning of them after. And like for me, as I was writing, I was like, oh, that's dope because same thing, you know what I mean? It's like we either choose to make time or we choose not to.
Right.
We choose to make time or we choose to have time taken away from us. And then the I've had bad days, you make days bad, that's for all the people who to me were like who made excuses. You know, myself included, always, but like there were like specific people who I'm not gonna go into, but there were specific people to me who were like, okay, I've had bad days, but you're a person who actually make days bad. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like, and I'm just like, and the whole song Sideways, right? It's like, have you ever heard the term? It's a North American term, but have you ever heard the term like, yo, this person's mad sideways, or don't come at me sideways?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's like that means that like a person who won't speak to you directly, who's not willing to be honest and upfront with you. It's like, but they'll come at you sideways or be passive aggressive or talk behind your back. It's like all of that feeds that concept. You know, I've had bad days, you make days bad. You
Yeah.
take time, I make time. So it's like, don't come at me sideways.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it was all, that song was me imagining these people, specific people who I'm like, yo, like, I'm done with your energy. I'm not dealing with that. I won't tolerate it anymore.
100%.
You know, and you know, in the brown community, the Indian community, or anyone, like, there's a lot of passive aggressiveness, you know, and
Oh, yeah.
people are very afraid to have open, upfront conversations about difficult topics because they feel like it reflects poorly on them or their family or their or friends or whatever, and so they get, and I'm like, I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I so get that. So get that.
So that's like where the idea of the song came from, and because I had solidified that, the rest flowed. But I had made the first part of the song up until the chorus about maybe 4 months before I actually sat down and made the chorus.
Oh, okay.
So I made the first verse and that beat, the doom, 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 with the trap beat and the drums, that was made like probably in like December or something. And then I was like, I don't know what to do for a chorus. So I made like a second beat as my chorus, which was the chorus as we know it, in like March. And that's when the lyrics for the chorus came out. So it wasn't like me sitting all down in one session. It's like I sat down in an hour, got the first part done. Then like 4 months later, I finally figured out the inspiration to get the second part done.
Yeah.
You know, and by the time I wrote the chorus, the rest of the song was easy to write.
Yeah. As you're talking about the first verse, I'm just like thinking about the win, 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 win.
Yeah.
Tick, 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 tick. I was like, I fucking love that shit, man. Damn, I can't believe I like it so much. Like, I was not expecting much. Like, when I just saw the promo video from Sideways, I was like,
right,
all right, it looks cool. Like, my friend that actually sent it to me was the first rapper I ever interviewed on the network.
Right.
Vinayak Menon.
Right.
Skivini is his rapper name, his artist name. Because he was a skinny kid when he was, I mean, he's always been a skinny kid, and his nickname is always Vinny, so he's like, he made it Skivini. And it's pretty cool. He's in University of Toronto right now. He's working on stuff, and he does everything by himself too, like from scratch.
Right.
Like, makes the beat, sings, mixes and masters. I think like he has someone to help him mix and master, but he still tries to do it himself first. But he's really cool. So he sent me your video. He's like, man, check out. He actually put you on his story, and then he tagged Brown Rappers Network. He was like, yo, check this guy out. And I was like, all right, seems cool. Let me just go on YouTube and look at his stuff. I think the first thing that I saw was Midas, because I just got like the what do you call the thumbnail that was there.
Right.
Kind of intrigued me. I was like, let me just check this out first. I was like, damn, all right.
What was the thumbnail? Was it the Ganesh or was it me sitting in the chair?
I think it was you sitting in the chair.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when I hovered over it, I saw the golden Ganesh, like, kind of like flips. Yeah. So, damn, let me check this out. Dude, that video was insane. How did you make that? How did you make that video?
So in high school I was in theater, and so originally I wanted to go into acting and drama and that kind of, and so when I was in high school we'd write a lot of scripts, so I actually wrote the script for that music video, and then like basically I was like, I want to do a music video for Midas because this is the catchy song. This will be the single, right? So I was like, I knew that when I made the song. I was like, okay, this is probably going to be the single. And then I was like, if I had all the money in the world, what would I make the script for the music video be? I was like, I'm not going to compromise because of money. I just want to see what it would be. And so I came up with that script. And I mean, it came out. It came out. Are there things I wish I filmed, or are there things like that I wish made the story a little bit clearer? Yeah, but I'm happy with what it was. Like that was like the first music video I ever like filmed. Like I have a video before the Midas video, which is the No Sucker MCs contest. But that was actually filmed after the Midas video. So we filmed that in September of 2019, but the Midas video was filmed in May of 2019.
Wow.
I just released the No Sucker MCs contest video first because it was a contest video.
Yeah.
But so since the Midas video was my first music video ever, I was like, yeah, like I scripted it, and then we got the people, we pitched for the funding, and then we put it together.
Yeah, like at the end of the video, so there's so much gold. There's so much gold in that video, right?
Right.
At the end of the video, you turn into gold too. Like you get mounted on whatever is surrounding you. So what was the story behind that?
Oh man, I wish. See, it's like I wish I never had to explain it. I wish it was more self-evident. That's what I wish. So in the future, like I keep that in mind. But everything's a growing process. So cool. So here's the basic story. Cool.
Yeah.
There's a blind beggar, and he, like, a genie comes up to him and basically says, I'll grant you a wish, because he feels pity for him, right? But the thing is, the blind beggar from the beginning could always turn things into gold. That's why his hands are bandaged from the very beginning. And because his hands are bandaged from the very beginning, but he's blind, he has no idea he's turning things into gold. He just knows that when he touches things, they're messed up. So what happens is, at the very end, if you see in the music video, he wishes, I wish that I could see. Like, I wish for sight. So the beggar wishes that he could see. He learns how to see. He realizes he's turning things into gold, but he still keeps the blindfold on, because now that he knows, he wants to see how people react, because they treated him like shit when he was a beggar. And so throughout this whole process of him, like, going from rags to riches, he's watching the people around him and how they only want things from him because he can turn things into gold. And then at the end, he's so sick of it all that he's like, all right, I don't care anymore. And so he turns himself into gold.
Wow.
So it's like, it's based, because the Midas story is like a Greek almost tragedy. So I wanted to take that and then do a little flip on it. So that's kind of the whole story. I mean, in hindsight, like, I kind of wish maybe in the future I make a little short series like based off that story. But
That's so cool. No, that video was very well directed. I think I may not have been watching as closely as I should have, just because I was so caught up. I'm a big listener, so like I'm always looking for the lyrics. Like what do the lyrics say? Like what do they mean? And stuff, you know. But definitely check out the video again. I love listening to both of them. Both of them are like
Thank you.
Midas, man. I can't say it enough. Like I can't say it enough. I know I've said it like 5 or 6 times already throughout this interview that those are the songs I'm bumping right now. Those are actually the only songs I've been bumping right now. Midas and Sideways. Crazy.
Much love.
Crazy. But yeah,
damn, I appreciate it, man.
I think that's all the questions that I have for you today.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All
how
right.
Do you feel about this interview? How was it for you?
It was fun, bro. It was chill.
Yeah, it was fun, right?
I mean, you know, it was dope. I think we had some good discussion points, you know, and like I'm gonna leave a little bit more inspired. So I hope that you do, and I hope that the people who listened do.
Absolutely, man. I am definitely so much more inspired. I did not expect you to be able to explain your stuff that well. I mean, the the things that you were saying, the way that you were saying stuff, all your stories, and you're very well spoken. You're
Thank you.
Very, very well spoken, which is a breath of fresh air for me.
I,
You
I
know,
appreciate that.
before I've always had to like kind of throw a line to people, like, you know, like
Right.
throw a fishing line, like a hook to people, like, yo, tell me more, tell me more. But
Yeah,
you went
yeah.
on and on, and I was getting goosebumps, and I was like, damn, this is awesome. This is awesome. Like, yeah, damn, it was so
Much love,
cool.
much love. You know what? I think part of that is because so I taught from 17 up until recently. I taught dance, and
Okay.
now I'm in the Yukon. I'm teaching music to kids, and so you get so used to like teaching that you kind of have to just learn to be like, let me explain this in a way that anyone could get it, and then let me try and explain it to like the most depth that I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get obsessed with my word choices in general, and so like
Yeah.
it's weird. Yeah.
No, but it's good. You took you paused, and then you took the time to think, and you're like, wait, let me just, yeah, all right, and then you spoke. You know, like that was great.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I don't know if you
Yeah.
could tell, but I was like stuttering a little bit. I was just like a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like,
Nah, bro, you chill. What do you mean? You fine.
yeah,
Fine.
okay. Wait, so after
But
your yeah, what were you gonna say?
no, I was gonna say that's something that I saw it in a movie or some once, and someone was like, think like there was the saying, think before you speak, but like I'll never remember what it was, but in some movie, someone like stopped and then they spoke and they said some dope shit. And I was like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want, I should do that because I used to run on too much. And I'm like, a lot of the times I'm like, what is the most important part of what I want to say? Okay, now I'll speak.
I think I've had a similar experience just to that. Like, I remember from somewhere, someone paused and then said something dope, and they emphasize like always to just even all these videos emphasize to like think and then talk. Like there's all these
It,
inspirational videos online.
I figured it out. It was Osho. Osho was one of them.
Okay.
So Osho's this guy. He's like this philosopher dude. Like he's a bit controversial, but he says some dope stuff. And
Yeah.
so like, but whenever he speaks super slow, and he'll stop before he speaks. But
Right.
everything that he says is like usually very choice words.
Right.
And I was like, that's kind of dope that he can get this many people to listen to him when he's literally speaking like this.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Very cool. Wait, so did you finish after you finished your 1 year of sound and your audio engineering program?
yeah.
What did you do after that? Did you end up doing undergrad at all or no?
No,
Not at all. All right.
no.
So
I just made like I was just like, okay, let me just figure this stuff out.
that's cool.
That's pretty much it. But keep in mind like again, I had extenuating circumstances. Like again, had my brother never passed away, I probably wouldn't have made those decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's something to be noted is that like I was planning on going to post-secondary to get my undergrad.
Yeah.
That was almost the obvious thing. Like of course, you know, there's no other choice. School was my forte. I was valedictorian in middle school, valedictorian in high school. Like I had a good average. I was like, you know what I mean? But part of the reason my parents supported me was because they knew that it was a choice. Like I wasn't doing it because I wasn't good at school.
Right.
I was doing it because like to me it just made more sense. I'm like I know what I want to do. I'm
Right.
not deciding. I know I want to do music. Like and because I know I want to do music, why am I going to waste 4 years doing what? Humanities? I can Google that shit. Like I'm very interested in it, but I can Google it. Like I should spend that time focused on what I want to do. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
And that
but you know, like again, it's never too late for anybody, you know, to
yeah,
make those decisions.
for sure. I had a great conversation with you today, man.
Yeah, man. Likewise.
Yeah.
Stay in touch. Shout out to Brown Rappers Network. I appreciate what you guys are doing,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you.
So
Keep doing what you're doing, man. Enjoying everything you're putting out right now.
thank you. There's
I'm
more good
gonna,
stuff to come.
awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited. Definitely keep you on my tab.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, man. See ya.
Sick, my guy. I'm later.
Later.
Bad from the wayside, everyone sideways. You take time, I make time. I've had bad days, you make days bad. That shit just don't play right. Hands to the roof, I got my dogs, my squad, my peeps, my canines. No, you can't take mines. Watch your step, I make mines. Blow up on the timeline. Bad from the wayside, everyone sideways. You take time, I make time. I've had bad days, you make days bad.